Welcome, race fans, to NASCAR Race Review on Tim Reynolds Show, as I'm reviewing the NASCAR Cup Series race from Darlington Raceway, the last race before the start of the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, as we would have to see the drivers on the playoff bubble really have to race their way into this one and earn their Darlington stripes and push their cars to the limit in order to punch their ticket into the NASCAR playoffs. And we would see the number 23 Toyota Camry, driven by Bubba Wallace, would earn the pole in this one to start us out, but we would only get 9 laps in before we would see the number 19 Toyota, driven by Martin Truex Jr., get loose and run into the number 12 Ford of Ryan Blaney, ending both of their days at the racetrack. But thank goodness the number 19 car has been driving so good all year long that Martin Truex Jr. and his Joe Gibbs Racing team have punched their ticket into the NASCAR playoffs after their point standings, as they would find out later on in the race. So congratulations to Martin Truex Jr., who gets a chance to race for a championship in his last year of full-time racing in the NASCAR Cup Series. But we would see an amazing race after this caution, as the number 5 Chevy, driven by Kyle Busch for Hendrick Motorsports, would take the lead away from Bubba Wallace, and he would dominate this race, leading most laps and actually winning both stage 1 and stage 2 of this race. But we would see cautions play a big part in the race later on, as we would see a couple of cautions from the number 77 Carson Hocevar, who got loose a couple of times in the second caution, knocking him out of the race. But we would also see a caution involved with the number 17 Chris Buescher and his Ford, and also involved with the number 38 Ford of Todd Gilliland. Now, Gilliland was knocked out, but thank goodness the number 17 didn't sustain a lot of damage onto his car, as he was able to stay in the race so he could try to really race his way in to the NASCAR playoffs. But we would see the big one after this, folks, as a huge caution would come out shortly afterwards, and we would see several cars involved, including the number 23 Toyota Camry, driven by Bubba Wallace, who was involved in this, and this would really hamper his day at being able to compete and punch his ticket into the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. Man, what a tough break for Bubba Wallace on this caution. But guys, we've seen a couple of badass restarts on this. On the first restart, we've seen the number 14 of Chase Briscoe be able to pass by Kyle Larson in the number 5 Chevy and actually get the lead in this one. But on our second restart, we would see the number 8 Chevy, driven by Kyle Busch, on fresh tires in 8th place, passed by 7 other cars, or I should say in 9th place, passing by 7 other cars to get into 2nd place right behind Chase Briscoe. And boy, did he push him. The 2-time champion would push Chase Briscoe to the limit, as we would see the number 14 Ford getting loose all over the place, as the number 8 Chevy would push him and push him. But it would not be enough, as we have another new winner in our last week of the regular season in the NASCAR Cup Series, as the number 14 Ford, driven by Chase Briscoe, gets the victory for Stewart Haas Racing in their last year of full-time racing, as they have punched their ticket into the playoffs, and now they will get to race for a NASCAR championship in 2024. Wow, what a victory for Chase Briscoe after he gets his 2nd career win in the NASCAR Cup Series, and now he knocks out a couple of other guys right on the playoff bubble, because we have a new winner. We would see the number 54 Toyota, driven by Ty Gibbs, punch his ticket to get the last playoff spot in the NASCAR Cup Series standings. But that means the number 17 Ford, driven by Chris Buescher, would actually get knocked out, and the number 23 Toyota Camry, driven by Bubba Wallace, would get knocked out. And Kyle Busch, who needed to win this race in order for him to get into the playoffs this year, now will have to be looking to hopefully continue his streak of many seasons in a row of getting at least one win in the NASCAR Cup Series race. But it'll have to be outside the playoff bubble, as we now know that the playoffs have been set. We know the 16 drivers that will be competing for the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series championship. But we also found out that even though the number 5 Chevy, driven by Kyle Larson for Hendrick Motorsports, was so dominant in this race, winning both stages, it was not enough to hold off the number 45 Toyota Camry, driven by Tyler Reddick, who wins the regular season championship in 2024 in the NASCAR Cup Series. For him and his 2311 team, his team owner Michael Jordan and also Denny Hamlin, they've got to be so pumped up, as Tyler Reddick was sick to his stomach, throwing up everywhere, and was still able to get a 10th place finish and win the regular season championship for him and his team. And now the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs kick off next week, and I cannot wait to see these 16 drivers race for a championship. I cannot cannot wait to see who ends up winning and who ends up taking it all home and becomes the new 2024 NASCAR Cup Series champion. This has been Tim Reynolds Show. It's your NASCAR race review. Please like and subscribe to the channel for more NASCAR content, football content, sports content, and sports entertainment you can only get on Tim Reynolds Show. Let's go. Thank you guys for all the support. Thank you NASCAR fans. Thank you sports fans across the world and across the country. Appreciate you guys. Hey, the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs start next week, so you be sure to check into Tim Reynolds Show as we're going to give you guys all the news and updates heading forward. And hey, also some news from the NASCAR world as next year in 2025, the NASCAR Cup Series is going international and they're going to be racing in Mexico City in an actual points race for the first time outside of the United States. So pretty historic for NASCAR. Guys, this has been amazing. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Peace out.